Did you know that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is say nothing at all? Some people don't want to understand you. They just want to see you lose control. And the moment you stay silent is the moment they have nothing left to say. In this video, you'll discover why silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. Why you don't need to react to prove your worth. And why the wisest people don't need to speak to be heard. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to hear may change the way you handle every insult life throws at you. There's a truth many people don't fully grasp. Staying silent after being disrespected is not weakness. On the contrary, it's a powerful demonstration of inner strength. Many assume that if you don't fight back immediately, if you don't respond with anger or sharp words, you're letting others walk all over you. But in reality, reacting in the heat of the moment doesn't make you stronger. It only shows that someone else is controlling your emotions. When you allow someone's hurtful words or actions to trigger your anger to make you lose control, they win. They've gained exactly what they wanted: power over you. Ask yourself, how many times have you seen someone lose their temper over an insult? In that moment, did they truly look strong or just lost in emotion? The loudest voice in the room isn't always the strongest. The person who remains calm, who doesn't let emotion take over, is the one truly in control. Silence isn't emptiness. It's a form of deep discipline. People will try to push your buttons. Some will test your patience just to see if they can break you. They don't have peace inside, so they want to drag you into their storm. Because if they can throw you off balance, they feel powerful. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to react the way they hope you're sending a clear message, you don't have control over me. This doesn't mean you aren't hurt. You're human, you feel it. But the real question is, what will you do with that emotion? Will you waste your energy trying to prove something to someone who doesn't deserve your words? Or will you recognize that not every battle is worth fighting? Those who are truly strong understand that silence speaks louder than words. It unsettles those expecting a fight. It forces them to sit with their own actions with no distraction or excuse. Some might say, if I don't stand up for myself, people will think I'm weak. But the truth is, when you know your worth, you don't need to prove it to anyone. As we touched on before, remaining silent doesn't mean you're ignoring the offense. It means you're making a conscious choice to protect your peace. And here's the truth. Those who understand real power don't need to shout to prove it. A lion doesn't need to roar to remind the jungle that it's a lion. Likewise, when you walk with quiet confidence, when your actions reflect clarity and purpose, people will recognize your strength without you having to say a single word. Silence isn't about avoiding confrontation. It's about choosing your response wisely. It's knowing that your energy is precious and should never be wasted on people who don't deserve it. Some arguments are just traps. Some words are just bait. And when you refuse to take the bait, you win without ever stepping into the fight. So next time someone disrespects you, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Does their opinion change your value? The answer is always no, because someone else's words don't define you. Their negativity is not yours to carry unless you choose to pick it up. Staying silent after being disrespected isn't about letting things slide. It's about making a powerful decision, a decision to protect your peace, preserve your dignity, and walk away knowing your silence said more than any words ever could. Here's something vital to understand about disrespect. It's a trap. It's meant to provoke you emotionally, to shake your ground, to get under your skin. And once it succeeds, you've surrendered something valuable, your energy. Every time you engage in an argument that serves no purpose, every time you go back and forth with someone who doesn't even respect you, you drain energy that could have been used to build something greater. And that's exactly what some people want. They don't care about growing. They're not interested in healing or resolution. They simply want to drag you down to their level of chaos. But when you stay quiet after being disrespected, you rob them of that power. You don't give them what they came for. Energy is everything. It shapes how you feel, how you think, how you move. And the truth is, your energy is limited. It's not an endless supply to be handed out freely to everyone who provokes you. You have dreams to chase, goals to accomplish, peace to protect. But when you respond to every insult, every petty remark, you drain yourself. Staying silent doesn't mean weakness. It means you're actively protecting your inner peace. And when you do that, you begin to realize that inner calm is far more valuable than winning any argument. Sometimes exhaustion doesn't come from the work you're doing to improve yourself. It comes from letting someone else's negativity hijack your focus. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to thrive on conflict? They create drama, stir up tension, then sit back and watch as others lose control. That's their game, but you don't have to play. When you choose silence over reaction, you take back control and you shield yourself from the stress that comes with unnecessary battles. That's real victory, the kind that doesn't require you to raise your voice. There will be people who test your patience just to see if they can make you crack. They'll throw words like darts, hoping one lands deep enough to trigger a reaction. But when you remain calm, when you don't respond the way they expect, they're left with nothing. Silence is a shield. It doesn't mean you didn't feel the disrespect. It means you know your energy is too valuable to waste on the fleeting satisfaction of a reaction. Sure, it might feel good for a few seconds to put someone in their place. But then, what? Do they change? Do they suddenly respect you? Usually not. If anything, your reaction gives them more fuel, more reason to keep going. But when you stay silent, when you let your actions, your growth, your peace speak for themselves, you take away every ounce of power they were trying to claim. In your world, their words carry no weight. Eventually, they stop trying because people only poke at what reacts. When there's no reaction, they're forced to move on. You might think, but I need to defend myself. I need to let them know they can't talk to me that way. But remember, self-respect doesn't always mean confrontation. In fact, one of the highest forms of self-respect is knowing what's worth your time and what's not. Not every battle is meant for you. Not every insult deserves your attention. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to do nothing at all. When you don't give them the reaction they're looking for, you do something they never expect. You protect your peace. And in that moment, you take back control. The next time someone disrespects you, pause and ask yourself, is this really worth my energy? Does this moment deserve my peace? If the answer is no, let it go. Guard your mind, protect your spirit, keep your focus intact. Some battles are simply beneath you. Walking away is not weakness. People will say all sorts of things. They'll throw words like darts, trying to get under your skin, trying to make you question your worth. And in those moments, the temptation will rise, temptation to snap back, to speak up, to show them exactly who they're messing with. But here's the truth. Words are cheap. Talking is easy. Anyone can say anything. But real power, real evidence, and real impact come from what you do. Let them talk. Let them doubt you. Let them make their assumptions. At the end of the day, what they say doesn't change your reality. What changes things is what you do. You don't need to argue with anyone about who you are when your life makes it undeniable. You don't need to waste time proving your worth to people who aren't even qualified to judge it. Because when you focus on your growth, your progress, and your purpose, your results speak for themselves. That's the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck. The ones who waste energy defending themselves, explaining themselves, proving themselves to people who don't matter. They stay distracted, caught in the cycle of negativity and drama. But those who stay quiet, who keep their heads down and keep moving forward, they go places. They rise above the noise, and by the time the doubters realize what happened, you're already too far ahead to reach. Silence isn't surrender, it's strategy. Some people will try to bait you into battles that don't deserve your presence. They'll provoke you, hoping to pull you into their chaos, hoping you'll lower yourself to their level. But when you choose not to engage, when you stay focused on your own path, you don't just win the argument, you erase it altogether. Because success drowns out noise. When you're too busy building, too focused on growing, too committed to leveling up, you don't have time for petty disputes. Think about the great ones, those who rose to the top through quiet focus and relentless discipline. Those who became truly great, they didn't waste time responding to every critic. They didn't bother with every hater, every doubter. They let their work speak for itself. They let their results answer the noise. And that's exactly what you must do. Don't waste time trying to convince small minds of your greatness. Just be great. Keep moving forward. Let your consistency, your discipline, and your success be your reply. People will notice. They always do. At first, they'll try to tear you down. They'll say you're not capable, that you're wasting your time, that you don't have what it takes. But when they see that nothing shakes you, nothing stops you, that you don't even flinch at their negativity, something shifts. Few things confuse people more than someone who refuses to be affected by them. And few things humble people more than realizing their words had zero power over you. Then the results begin to show. The success becomes visible. The progress becomes undeniable. And suddenly, the same people who once disrespected you are forced to acknowledge you. That's the power of silence when it's backed by relentless action. That's why staying quiet after disrespect isn't weakness, it's redirection. It's using your energy where it actually makes a difference. Let them waste their breath while you build. Let them talk while you rise. Because in the end, it won't be your words that prove them wrong, it will be your success. Disrespect has a way of making things feel deeply personal. Someone says something cruel, dismisses you, looks down on you, and it stings. The natural instinct is to take offense, to strike back, to make them see you differently. But here's what you need to understand. Disrespect is never really about you. It's a reflection of them. It's a window into who they are, not a statement about who you are. People treat others based on what they carry inside. A bitter person spreads bitterness. Someone burdened by insecurity will try to make others feel small. A person drowning in misery will try to pull everyone around them under too. That has nothing to do with you. But if you take it personally, if you let their words and actions seep into your heart, you're accepting a burden that was never yours to carry. When you start carrying a weight that was never yours, you give away power that they never deserved. You let their brokenness become your burden. And the moment that happens, they begin to influence your peace, your clarity, your spirit. That's why silence is so powerful. It's not weakness. It's a quiet declaration that says, I see what you're doing, but I choose not to take part in it. It says, your words may be loud, but they carry no weight in my life. People who go around disrespecting others aren't searching for truth. They're seeking control. They want to provoke you. They want to feel superior. They want to believe they can shake your foundation. But when you don't react, when you remain silent, and refuse to feed their need for attention, they're left with one thing, only their own reflection. And that's what they're truly running from. They insult others because they don't want to be seen. They attack because they're afraid to be exposed. They lash out because they don't want to deal with the pain inside. So, arguing, explaining, or demanding respect becomes a wasted effort. You can't force someone to see what they've already chosen to ignore. You can't make someone give what they don't have inside of them. The wisest thing you can do is walk away. Not because you've been defeated, but because you've outgrown the need to fight for your worth. Engaging in meaningless battles only leaves you drained. You weren't put on this earth to spend your life trying to convince people who don't even respect themselves to treat you with dignity. You have greater things to focus on, bigger goals, bigger growth, and a greater purpose that deserves your energy. Some people will never respect you no matter what you do, and that's okay. Their respect is not a requirement for your success. Their approval is not needed for your progress. What they think of you doesn't define you. What defines you is how you carry yourself, how you keep moving forward, how you refuse to let their negativity take root in your spirit. So the next time someone disrespects you, remember this: it was never about you. It's about them, their battles, their emptiness, their unresolved pain. You don't have to carry their emotional baggage. Stay silent. Guard your peace. Let them sit with the chaos they created. When you stop carrying the emotional baggage of others, you leave them to face the weight of their own words. And that's when you realize disrespect always speaks louder about the one who gives it, not the one who receives it. There's a fleeting moment that happens right after you've been disrespected. Just a split second, but it's enough. Your emotions surge, your pride flares, and everything inside you wants to react. That moment feels like a crossroads, one path leading to a sharp reply, the other to silence. Most people take the first path. They believe that by clapping back, by saying something strong, something sharp, they're defending their dignity. But here's the truth. Reacting emotionally doesn't prove your strength. It hands over your control. Dignity isn't found in how loud you can shout or how sharp you argue. It's found in knowing when to walk away, in choosing not to be dragged into something that's beneath you. People will try to pull you into their negativity. They'll push your buttons, test your patience, and bait you to step out of character. And the second you do, you've already lost. Because now, you're no longer acting from wisdom. You're playing their game. That's why silence is dignity. It's restraint, it's power. It's the ability to look someone in the eye. Someone who's trying to provoke you and say, without saying a word, "You don't have that kind of control over me." Most people won't understand that. They think silence equals weakness. They assume that if you don't respond, it's because you're afraid. But true confidence doesn't announce itself. A lion doesn't need to roar to prove it's a lion. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. The one who always has to talk, who always needs to win, who always demands the last word deep down, that's not confidence. That's insecurity. Real strength is shown in how well you can hold yourself together when others try to tear you apart. It's in your ability to walk away from the fight, not because you're incapable of responding, but because you know the response just isn't worth it. Some people will insult you just to see if you'll step out of character. They'll throw words like stones, hoping one hits the softest part of you. And when you react, As mentioned before, when you react, you give away your power. But when you refuse to give them what they're looking for, when you stay calm, when you don't match their toxic energy, you take all that power back. They're left with nothing to feed on, no satisfaction, no control. And the best part, you walk away with your dignity intact. You don't let them break your character. You remain the author of your story. You aren't defined by a moment of weakness. You won't be remembered for losing your temper or saying something out of anger. You'll be remembered for your composure, your discipline, and for knowing yourself well enough not to let someone else dictate your actions. So the next time you're disrespected, don't think of silence as backing down. Think of it as rising above. Think of it as standing tall in your confidence, strong enough not to engage in small battles. Think of it as walking away with grace, knowing that no matter what they said, you never lowered yourself to their level, because in the end, that's real victory. There's a unique kind of strength in patience, in letting time speak what your words never could. When someone disrespects you, the first instinct is always to react to correct them, to demand an apology, to make them see their error. But here's the truth. Most people who disrespect you aren't looking to understand. They're not concerned with fairness or truth. They're acting from ego, from insecurity, from the need to feel big by making someone else feel small. And when you react in that moment, you enter their world, a world ruled by chaos and impulse. You meet them at their level, and once you're there, you've already lost control. The strongest response is no response. Not because you have nothing to say, but because you understand that time will say it better than you ever could. Nothing humbles a person more than being proven wrong by reality. Nothing silences a critic faster than watching the very person they tried to tear down rise far beyond what they expected. When you protect your peace and stop wasting your energy on every insult, life itself becomes your response. As we said before, time will speak for you, and sometimes the things you don't respond to are handled more powerfully than you ever could have planned. People who disrespect you often expect an immediate reaction. They expect anger, defensiveness, a heated argument. They're waiting to see if they've touched a nerve, if they've gotten under your skin. But when you remain silent, when you don't give them the response they crave, it throws them off. Your silence doesn't just disarm them, it forces them to sit with their own words and actions. With no distraction from your reaction, they're left to face themselves. And something powerful happens in that silence. They begin to hear their own voices. They start to realize they may have spoken too soon. They begin to feel the weight of what they said, without you having to carry any of it. Silence doesn't mean you're letting things slide. It means you understand that not everything requires your direct involvement to be resolved. Time exposes. Time humbles. Time reveals truth. And more often than not, those who disrespected you will eventually face the very energy they put out into the world. But that's not your burden to carry. You don't need to seek revenge. You don't need to wish for karma. All you need to do is keep moving forward. Keep your head high. Keep your focus sharp. Let your peace, your growth, and your progress be your only reply. There's an old saying, what goes around comes around. And it holds true. People can say whatever they want. They can underestimate you. They can doubt you. They can throw stones. But what they can't do is stop what's meant for you. They can't cancel the favor over your life. They can't undo the truth that the very things they said you'd never do, you're already on your way to achieving. So stay silent. Not because you're weak, not because you're afraid, but because you know that time will speak for you. And when it does, the very ones who doubted you will have no choice but to watch you prove them wrong without you ever saying a word. You've walked this entire journey not with loud words, but with calm discipline and strength. And now you realize that sometimes true power isn't in the reaction, it's in the quiet control. In a world where everyone rushes to argue, to prove, to shout the loudest, the one who knows when to stay silent is the one who truly holds power. You don't have to yell to make your point. The way you live, the way you carry yourself, what you're building, that is the clearest response of all. They said you couldn't. You showed them you're doing it. They waited for you to fall. You stood taller than ever. They wanted a reaction, and instead, you moved forward in silence. And because you didn't respond, the noise had no choice but to die down in the face of your growth. Don't let others define you. Don't let disrespect pull your heart off course. You weren't created to react to everything. You were created to walk with purpose, clarity, and peace. Remember, your silence is not weakness. It's the strategy of someone who knows their worth. You know that life will speak. You know that time will reveal the truth. And you know you don't have to lower yourself to rise. Because those who are truly strong don't need to say much. They just walk forward and let the world see for itself. If this message spoke to you, you hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next videos on growth, peace, and inner strength. Turn on the notification bell because the journey to self-mastery doesn't end here. The most powerful truths are still ahead. And don't forget to watch the next video where we continue to explore silence wisdom and how to rise above the noise.